So today, our objective would be to complete the remaining part of your file IO operation. Like we have a cover like writing the byte stream input and character stream input and output. And today we are going to understand how we can write maybe some object, maybe my object itself, right? So how objective is how uh, we can write object, okay? Like employee object, right? Everything, right?
Right.
How we can, okay? Object, maybe. So let us create one class employee, okay?
Right. Just like we did before.
Yes, and let us they have some name,
Yeah.
name, and let's private teacher age, okay? Lots of it. Let's go with the basic, okay? And add the constructor, okay? And add the setter getter, okay? Let's do string, okay?
Right.
So these are the two things, okay?
And setter getter.
Yes, the if needed, we can add it a little.
Okay. Okay.
So just I read it. Okay, till now it's okay, right? So let's I created this employee class, employee one equal to
New
new
employee.
employee, and let's pass the JAWS and name is should be 56, right?
Right.
So whenever you print, it will print. So it will a complete object, right? So can I write this object itself in our file,
Uh,
right?
we can try.
Yeah, let's do. So
Okay.
here our objective, we are going to understand object stream API. Object stream API. Okay,
Right. Mhm.
our file uh, file IO operation. File IO to system. Before that, we have already understand about the two kind of stream, like byte stream, okay, and one is the character stream, right?
Right.
Character stream. So now today we are going to understand how sometime we need not only till now whatever the example we understand to writing in the file, yeah, reading from file always in the form of your string input, right? Can we
That's
write
right.
my custom object, my employee object, and write employee and get employee, right? In the from file
Right.
itself, right?
That's right.
So here again, like we have to use the basic. Uh, look like internally they are using the same as a concept over a byte string. So you know, ki byte stream have a uh, uh, base class like such input stream and output stream, right? Input stream, right? This is the base class.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, input stream and for writing output stream. So internally, object is nothing just the different flavor of your byte stream, right? Internally also character is also nothing internally flavor of your byte stream. Finally, in a computer, all information is stored in the form of byte, right?
Right.
Just different representation might be character or might be object, right? But due to this user readability purpose, sometimes you say this is a character, this is a string, sometimes this is object. So accordingly, Java API created new classes for us. So for
Right.
here, whenever last time we understand how to write data in a file, so we understand the file input stream and file output stream, right? Similarly, now can I use the different API here? Here say object, object, object output stream. This is the class we are going to understand, right? So notice this object input string means key for writing, right? First we are going to write and then we are going to read. For reading we have to use the object input. Oh, okay, object input stream, right?
Right.
So these are the two classes we are going to, one for writing, one for reading. So look
So
like
we need to use the byte way.
internally they are using the same concept. This is the, if you look the super class of this, let's check what is the super class of this. I am going to check the definition. Notice this is the extend the output stream, right?
Right.
So finally this is the one implementation of your same, like here till now we have understand the one implementation like a file input stream, right? Understand?
Mhm. Right.
File input stream or file output stream. File
Output is
output stream. The same we are going to use here also. We are going to surely where this object going to write. Maybe I'm going to write in the file, or maybe I'm going to write in the array. There's a do data structure in memory or permanent memory, right?
that's right. Yeah.
So here I'm going to use this all this API here just to understand how we are going to write the object. So just
Mhm.
similarity, we are using the terminology like object input stream. Internally, both are implemented the same API, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So just different flavor you can say, right? So let's question how. So first thing, this is your kind of your class. So we can create object. Good option. So let's create the object equal to new object input stream. But notice here what by default compiler is not okay. You can create the object with the default argument. Compiler is
Right.
unhappy. Say there is no such constructor, right? I also say this method throw IO exception. You have to handle. You have a two option. Use a try catch
Right.
or add at the throw method level. Or just go with the method signature, right? So let's I say add with the method signature. Okay. It still say this compiler is not found any default argument constructor, right? So what we can do? So here let's see what kind of constructor they provided. Notice. So they have a, you have to again file the, this is the object you have to use, right? So I'm say, hey, I have already one file output stream, why not I pass here? Say, hey, new file output stream reader, and now here I can pass any file name. Let's create the string file name. Okay, a file name. Okay, any file name. Okay,
Right.
let's data. Okay, okay, the file name data or object data, obj data file. Okay, obj data file.
Right.
And here say, hey, this is the my file name. Here I am going to file name. So this is the way we can create the object. So now notice here this object output stream also using the help of the same API, which we understand. Similarly, like a buffer reader, similarly this is the one more object output stream reader, right?
Right.
But these are heavily API used in our applications. Basically, this API is heavily used by framework designers, maybe Spring framework, Quarkus framework, Micronaut frameworks, which are providing the environment to build the application, right? So these
Right.
API are internally heavily used. So I'm saying we should aware these are the things when how we can write the object in a file, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's good. Now again, same have a function like here, right? And notice now we have a multiple method we got. Write object, write boolean, write byte, write bytes,
Right.
write character, write doubles, write float. Lots of fill, float, integer, long, short. So they have a huge variety of methods. Not only write the byte array, but we can write the completely object, completely boolean object, maybe completely a float object, might be int, might be long, might be short, right?
Right.
So they have a lots of additional methods, right? So let's I'm going to use the write object. I'm going to write the object, right? So hey,
Right.
I'm going to write the object. So here, what have I already I have created one employee object, right? So control Z, control Z. So already we have a one employee object. I
Right.
can go and write here. My employee object is written. And after that, as usual, we have to close the stream,
Same
right?
way.
Same
Mhm.
way. So now here I am going to write not only one value, but the custom object. Object internally hold one string, one integer, right? Is it okay? So
Right. Yeah.
if you understand one thing, now all other API follow a similar behavior. Very simple thing, right? And let's
Right.
just run. As out done something. So just check message if finally done, completed. Main completed. Okay. So let's run and check this file somehow created, and this employee object must be written in the file, right?
Right.
So, and let's compiler give some kind of error here, and then I'm discussing what kind of error compiler throwing, right? Okay, so before I'm going to first I'm going to run and then explain the problem, right? What is the problem here? So notice compiler throws something exception right here,
Right.
because compiler is not able to write my object. Okay, let's something. So here say they have a lots of method. Let's I comment out and I say, oh, can I write object input stream dot write int? Let's int value 1 2 3 4 5, right?
Right.
And let's run. So whenever I'm writing this integer value and run the code, say it will not throw any exception, because
So so
notice,
it is writing that number.
yes, now writing this number. Let's check the file. So notice this the file created in here by default folder. This is the object data. I read it. Oh, okay. So by default this is the object file. So let me open in the notepad somehow. Okay. So this is the object file, and let's open in the notepad something. So notice something they created junk thing. It you are not read. This is the object something, right?
Yeah.
So these are the store, but you cannot read. But API can read it. What is the meaning of that? Let's try to read it first, right? They are properly written or not, right? But as a human being, I don't understand what they written, right? But they written something, right?
Right.
So let's try to first understand this value written. Surely Java application able to read or not, right? So let's I am writing the read operation. So how to create the read value? Same. New your input stream, object input stream, object input stream. Here again you have to use the same file input stream because you want to read. So you have to file
Right.
input stream. What is the file name? Hey, this is the file name I want to read, right?
Right.
And here say similarly, here now we have a option read. So notice here a read. Now again multiple method: read boolean, read byte, read character, read float, read int. Now I know I have written the read integer, so I can say read int, right? I say read int. So they give me integer object, and let's check the value, right? Because I
Right.
know I have written the integer, so I can read the integer. And
Yeah.
now I commented this code because I'm not going to write again thing, right? Because this is already written in file, right?
Right.
And it would be good I write in the method, right? That is the beauty of method, right? So let's I'm going to write this method in a method, right? So right click, go refactor extract to the method, right? So this is the method, and just save the rename it to rename refactor rename and set is the write object into file, right?
Right.
So here and object. So here object, we are passing the object. Okay. So notice I finally done, and let's I comment out, right, this code. Okay. So finally I know this file already contained the data because I have written in, right? Because
Right.
they have something data, right? So why? So they have something data. Let's read. What is this? We human being cannot read, right?
Right.
So let's run the code and try to this API object input stream is able to read file and give me the correct value or not, right? Let's try it. And notice this API is successfully read the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Whatever the written. Notice I am written this value.
And you're reading.
Yeah, we are able to read here. Read I equal to here I printing I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that means ki our input stream API know ki what is this value, what is this value, right? As a human body, anyone cannot go open and understand ki what the Java written the value, right? But
Right.
application know what is the meaning of that, right? It's a good part. So now question is that if it's able to read it, but whenever I'm trying to pass this employee object, right here, employee object, then why they're throwing exception, right? Why? Let's get second parameter employee, right? Pass here. Whenever I'm saying, hey writer, can you write this object and as well as this employee one object as well as, so this will throw exception, right? Notice this is integer successfully, right? But while writing object, it is throwing exception. Okay, let's read it. So understand why compiler is not able to understand my object. The only problem with the my object, employee object. I pass some string object here. Say one thing like string object. String is also object. A
Right.
string, and let's pass hello. Okay, hello is the object, and if you let's key write say hey object input stream dot wret write, and let's use the object, and here I pass the string, and let's I comment out. Now itself here he's very happy because this is the object he's able to not throw exception, right? And so
Right.
later here I written one integer one object. So let's here so so second parameter say hey object input stream, I written two things, read object, read object. Okay, read object, and I know, and let's print this object. So at least now for integer it works, for string also works. At least we can read two value. So let's write this is also in a particular method, right?
Right.
Extract uh, extractor method, and method name let's rename as the read objects. Okay, read object from file. Okay, because you are passing the file, right?
Right.
What say unhandle exception? Okay, let's throw exception. Okay, so let's run. So at least I'm trying to say if I pass integer, it works. I pass a string, it works. Hope, and we are able to read the value as both object value. We have written two value. So notice two value I'm able to read integer and object as well, right?
Right.
But whenever I say let's write my object, it will throwing exception. So why our JVM is not able to understand why I'm not, he's not able to write my object, right? Because now read the error carefully. Say java.io.not serializable exception. That means he say your object this is not serializable. Serializable. That means now your JVM, your Java runtime system is not able to write this your employee object in a string in a file system. Why? Because why they are able to write the string object? Question is that. Let's look the string class. Notice, go to the string class and look the definition. String is the class that implement the IO This is the implement one interface, IO dot serializable interface. So whenever you are going to write any object, your object must implement this interface, serializable. Then compiler, then this method write object. No, okay. I only write object that is serializable. Means my class is currently not serializable. Question is that then why they accept the integer class? Why? He is able to understand integer, right? Integer class, right? So here look the integer class. Integer class definition. Go to integer. Integer class also implement number and number implement the serializable, right? Notice. So inside the uh, gist is that object, whenever you're going to write any object, that object must be serializable. That means in our case, why compiler is not happy to serialize? Because whenever someone write this employee class, by default Java say कि might be someone is not interested to store this information in a file, right?
Right.
But you want to say that you have to inform, hey compiler, please understand whenever someone going to save my employee object in a file, please allow them. So how to indicate the JVM? Indicate means we have to give some hint. So here the hint is just implement serializable interface. Just nothing in this interface. If you know this is the interface, there will no any method. Notice just
Right.
blank interface. Blank interface known as a marker interface or hint interface. Just inform to our Java and runtime system, hey, I want to give some special meaning, right? So once you add this line, now your this class also work. Now let's run it. Now notice we are able to write our integer, string, and number as well as. Notice there is no exception, right? And let's I read. Let's I read. I know कि I have written one integer, one object, two objects. So let's get one more object. Object is to dot read object again. Okay, okay, and let's print out and test. We are get our employee object from the reading. So notice I'm able to read our employee object. Notice
So you basically uh,
I have to just add this line, implement my class with a serializable interface. This is the condition required to writing Java object in the file system.
but you are importing each data in the object separately, like number, character.
Uh, no,
Object has name and age.
here,
Yeah,
where you're
name
talking?
and age.
This is the my class. This is my class. In this employee class, I can write anything, right? This is my class, now.
Right.
In this class, I can write anything: name, age, department, age, salary, anything, right?
How do you, okay, so uh, go back to where you write that on the file.
Here I'm writing the file. Just say, hey, write object. I'm already created this file output stream and writing the data in the file.
Okay, okay.
And let's look like how the block. Let's look here and notice this is something written here.
Yeah.
Notice something written here. Look, notice here they written the package name, and internally whenever they are going to write as a object, and while reading data they have to again convert to the object, right? So while converting object, they understand this is the employee object. Employee have a two variable name, one is string, one in integer. So all the syntax and semantics of this class is written in the file itself. Okay, I am written this file. This file contain each and everything. This is the class name. What is the variable? Age variable. This is the string variable. This is the integer variable, and what kind of value they have. So internally, all the things are written. Due to this serializable interface, right? So this is the things we have to today understand. Whenever you are going to write your custom class, your class object into the file system, you must implement this serializable interface. This interface have a no method. The good option, just implement. I don't go going to write any method for that, right? Just marker interface, just indication, just hint, right?
And when you extend serializable, then it will
Im-
work.
yes, implement. If I'm not, I'm not implement here, and if you run, compiler say, hey, I am not happy to store this because your object, your employee object is not serializable, right?
Hmm.
So if I implement serializable interface and again run, compiler happy say, hey, I'm able to save your data in my file and even I am read it, right?
Right. And how did you determine the serializable?
Uh, from here, class implement serializable.
Okay, so you went to the description of employee, then you saw it implements
Yeah.
serializable.
Whenever this API going to write object, you are passing employee object. They check,
Hmm.
okay, employee object. They go to check the employee definition. Employee definition is the serializable, yes or not. If not, then they throw exception. Else, it will throw. Notice here, whenever this is the business logic they written here something internally, somehow they have written some logic how to check written in a file. Lots of complex logic written, but we are not going to understand how they are going to write, right? Just
Right.
understand this write object methods are accept any object. That object must implement serializable interface.
Got it. Got it.
Even
Yeah.
you write the your string class notice existing class also implemented your serializable. Notice this is the class also implement serializable. Notice implement, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Similarly, if you are able to write integer class also implement the serializable. All the number, right? So you can say all the existing wrapper classes are almost all the classes of the existing library which have whole data that are implemented by this serializable interface.
Right.
The serializable interface is used while you are converting your employee object in the byte stream. Means ki now internally they are going to stream in a store in a stream means ki binary format, right? So
Right.
converting binary format existing thing like a string class, integer class, compiler understand because these are internally implemented serializable interface, right? But whenever you are going to write your class, custom class, then your responsibility you have to say, hey, this is also serializable, right?
Right. Right.
So this is the today understand the interface which don't have any method known as a marker interface or just indication or hint interface, right? Just we are just informing, hey, Java runtime system, whenever you are going to write my object in the file system, please consider because I'm also serializable, right?
Yeah.
This is the good. And even here you can read object, read method, anything you can do. So in this way, now we can write object in the file and read object from file. Any
Right.
confusion, any doubt? Okay.
So yeah. So when you write the full object, that means everything in the object will be in the
Yeah.
file.
Yeah. Notice I have created the here I am printing object while reading here. Just I now I am comment out. I'm not writing, right? I'm not
Right.
writing. I'm just going to
Read.
uh, just read this object file and they hold something. Yes, they hold something, right? I not understand what is this, but they hold something. Notice here they have hold something, right? Some number, some ASCII value, some junk character, right? But these
Right.
are the valid value for the Java runtime system. Java know how it's written. This is the byte stream data, right?
Okay. So when you do a write on a file object, it always shows like that.
like that. If you are using the byte stream, yes.
Oh,
Okay?
if you're using byte stream,
Object
okay.
byte stream.
Mhm.
Before notice, before that we are reading a file input stream, a file output stream. Always you are able to see exact value in the uh, file, right?
Right, right,
But
right,
before that, we are not writing object. We are writing simple plain text. Due to that, yes, our notepad or any Windows software can able to display. Yeah, this is the message written in a file. But now I'm not going to write the plain text. I am writing the object. The object have some syntax. Object have some private, some string class, some number, some integer, maybe age, float, salary, double, right? So these
right,
information also going to store corresponding here. Due to that, they need the serializable. The compiler, whenever going to save, first convert all the informations. Whenever going to this, all the information they are going to store. Okay, this is the class name, what is the package name, what is the name, what is the data type, what is this value, what is the name of this, right? Because
right,
whenever going to read from file, I have to create the object of that, right? So notice I am not writing here, already written in the file. So here you can say typecast. You know, this is the employee object. You can surely typecast employee object here, right? Here,
right,
right? And here say this is the employee object. And now, no, this is a string. Second time I write in string. So you say this is the string, and here I have a typecast. Why I'm doing here? Because I know first I written integer, then string, then employee. Similarly, when I'm going to read integer, then integer. Read object means string. Read object means employee. Because the first place is string, second place employee. So I have to say, hey, first time I'm reading, then give me string. Second time I'm reading, just give me employee object. And
right,
whenever you run, you are getting, I am able to, without writing, only read operation, right? Only read, still I am able to read the employee. No, we are able to read employee, right? And here, this is the employee. Any doubt?
right. No, I got it.
So here, notice, whenever I am going to reading data here, reading data, internally compiler going to create the employee object and all the value they are setting. Call the employee constructor. Call employee constructor. Okay. You notice whenever someone going to create the employee class object, at that time they have to call, right? So now I am just commented all the things, right? Okay, and just run it. So notice here, notice there is no kind of constructor call, right? Notice
Right,
here, by default, serializations are doing some special mechanism. Okay, if you manually create the employee class, by default constructor invoke, right?
right,
But here, oh, yeah, okay, wait. Here, notice I'm able to read data from file itself. Right? This is from file. Come here from file.
right.
So some these things like writing data in the file or object, these are heavily used API, but generally developer rarely use. Whenever developer some type custom want to store some Java object in the file system, they are used. But generally, as a real application, whenever you're developing, we always using some inbuilt software like database software, MongoDB, Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, right? And they internally provide concept to store object in the file, maybe database, right? But here,
Oh, so
sometime, yeah,
if you need to add object, you use those other way.
yes, yeah, other way. So generally, as a pure Java system provide you can store maybe plain text or maybe complete object in a file system. Whenever we are storing a file system, here all the informations also stored about the object. Because this employee object is stored. Whenever I am reading, how I know I have to create the employee class object, right?
Right.
If this file does not know the detail, this employee have a two name and a string, how they can convert the object here, right?
Right.
How to convert read object? I am reading from file here, reading a file, and how I can convert the employee object? So in while writing, due to that, say, hey, give me the serializable permission so that I can store your class name, your package name, your variable name, each and everything is the object. So whenever someone going to read them, at that time, this API read object API can easily made the object of your employee class, right?
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
Any confusion? Any doubt?
No. Yeah.
So let's explore this. Okay.
Sure.
These are the, and here you can write any number of object. Maybe you want to list all the things you can write. Maybe you can
So,
create the,
so
yes.
storing object is not that popular in the text file.
Yeah, generally not more popular because nowadays generally we are using the third-party database, software, lots of database software
Oh, okay,
freely
okay.
available, right? So why I am going to write in the lots of complexity and complete the property, right? So generally all the information generally we are using to store in the database, right?
Okay, okay. I see. I see.
Okay. Even that's a good option. The so let us here. Uh, even I can I can create the list of employee. Okay, list of employee. Right?
Right.
List. Okay. Then what happens? We can able to save our list or not. Let's check. Right?
I think should work because it's more organized.
List of employee. Okay.
List
And
of
let's say
employees.
list
Array
of yeah,
list as of.
of, and we can create some object here. Maybe new employee, and here say a Smith and comma age is 34. Okay. And here I say let's this. Okay, let's okay, and go
Right.
with some number 45, maybe 67, maybe 27, right? And here change the name Mary, Tim, Kane. Okay. So
Yeah.
any name. So now we have a list of employees. Let's say I'm going to write in the file. Say, hey, I say, hey, write object in the file. This is the file name and my list of objects. Okay. So you have to write the
Right.
method that accept list here. So let's write a method that accept list, right?
Right.
A method that accept here list of employee. Okay. List of employee. Okay.
Right.
Employees. And just I'm say, hey, here I'm just going to write the list of employees. Okay.
Right.
Right. So let me I say file name would be the different. Let's say uh, list of EMP. Okay, this is the file name, list of EMP.
Yeah.
They are going
Right.
to create list of EMP file and read them. And okay, and let's comment out. And let's first we are going to able to write the list of employee in the file. File name is the list of employee, right? And
Right.
let's run. And notice finally main completed means there is no exception. So that means somehow one a list of employee object created here, right? This is something right
Right.
here. And
Right.
let's check something they written, right?
Right.
You cannot read. Let's going to read them. So here I am going to say, hey, let's do the read operation. So I'm going to read can just read and say here Jim just say read uh, list from file. Okay. list. We written the list, right? So here all the things okay. Here say I am going to read the object, but that return the list of, okay, list of employee, right?
Right.
List of employee. Here say list of employee. Here say list. Okay. Yeah. List of employees. Okay. Here say what say?
So list employee is a type and object input stream
Yes. Let
dot
me,
read object. Okay.
okay, let me directly say, hey, give me the variable. By default, they give a, let's say, oh, okay, this will return the list most probably, okay, okay, and let's, I call this, hey, read from the list, okay,
Right.
just there, this is the go up, okay, and just from and five here, file name. This is the same file name here. I want to read, okay. So I'm going to the comment. Not going to write. Already written, right? Just I'm going
Right.
to call the read function. Read function come here, get file name, create the object, and try to read the object, right?
Right.
And let's run it. So notice we are able to read the complete list of employee. Notice
Right. Right. Okay. So list works.
list works. Also list of employee works. Means here we have not add only one employee. Employee Smith, employee Kane, employee
Oh, okay.
Team,
Okay. I
employee, all
see.
the employees are getting, right?
Right.
And here I can we say maybe we can say कि, hey, list of employee employees equal to here O, and just say okay, employees. So here type just O, O, O employee object. Here say list. Okay. So it's in this way also works, and now we have a list of employee, and here you can say just streaming. Okay, so now we have employee, and now here say hey stream and do for each, right? System dot out dot println, right?
Right.
And so let's run it, and in this way you can just stream by list right here, right?
Right.
So generally this you can write as a this itself here also work, or you can typecast also works. This is also work directly, you can say here, okay. So both work. You can just know this by default object, or you can say hey I want to directly in the list, not the system. So here you directly say this is the directly here, it's also work, right? You can say I am reading the object and just want to convert in the list, because I know I have written in the list. Here I know I written in the list, right? This is the list written. So you know I'm written list, you can get the list, right? So both you
Right.
have option, read this or read this. That's your problem. That means your approaches, right? You can do both, right? Both option you have. One way
Right.
this way, another way this way. Maybe directly you can typecast in the list, or directly just print the object. Okay, obj, obj. Okay, now we made, okay. Here print direct object. Okay, both works. Okay, so in this way, even we can write not only one object and the list of objects. Okay, this is the one way work, and this is another way also work, right?
Right.
It's good. So in this
Yeah.
way, you can able to write or read your object, maybe one employee object, yeah, list of employee object, as many number of you. And notice this something file created, and that's only Java understand. This is the not you understand. There contain the list of 5 employees, but we not understand where the 5 list of employee, right?
Right.
Good. So I think this is the good for the day.
Yeah.
Okay. I think take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.